Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optics covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
By Brome, where bird feeding meets innovation. Discover truly squirrel-proof bird feeders, all backed by lifetime care commitment. Brome.com.
And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit audubon.org/Hog Island.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our show number 1089. And if you're a mom and you're listening to the live version of our show, happy Mother's Day. Well, out in our Talking Birds garden, now being overseen by Seymour, the Talking Birds garden frog, we have a nesting birds update. Yeah, those birds. House wrens are nesting in one of our garden nest boxes. They'd put some twigs in both of the houses or the boxes there recently and chose one of them to be their actual nest. House wrens are famous or infamous for not taking kindly to other birds nesting near them, although we have had other species sharing the garden, so we'll see if something else might still happen nesting-wise. And the house wrens do seem to be tolerating the presence of Seymour. Well, it's Plirding month here at Talking Birds. Plirding, if you haven't heard about it, is a term formed from the words picking up litter while birding. In addition to inviting listeners to become proud plurders through the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com, we've also asked our current proud plurders to send us a Plirding audio postcard. And we have another one to air today from Lake City, Florida. Hello, John.
Hello, Ray. John Middleton here with Four Rivers Audubon. I'm standing underneath our Purple Martin Gourds at Alligator Lake Park in Lake City, Florida, because it's in this park where we found an anhinga killed by monofilament line and began to pick up trash as we went. We don't turn it into a work day. We just pick up what we get as we go along. Then there's this podcast I listened to, and several of us listened to, and they started calling it Plirding. Well, we adopted that as an official stance at Four Rivers Audubon. We plurd on all of our outings. We don't make it a work day. We just pick up what we can along the way, but especially dangerous things like plastics and monofilament line. We hope everybody who birds will leave a safer trail behind them by picking up trash as they go. Thank you for all you do, Ray. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, and thank you, John, and thanks to all your fellow plurders there at Four Rivers Audubon. We'd love to hear more Plirding audio postcards, and if you're plirding, we hope you'll tell us about it by recording a little piece, as John has done, and by sending it right here to this email address. It's ray@talkingbirds.com, ray@talkingbirds.com. Now here's a bird with a really cool song. This doesn't sound a lot like a house wren, I don't think. If you've heard our show before, you know that we're playing that right now because it's our mystery bird. And we're doing a preview of the mystery bird contest coming along later in the show with some wonderful prizes at stake. Our mystery bird is a handsome sparrow, although sparrow is not part of its name. The male is mostly black with large white wing patches, a short tail edged in white, and a chunky blue-gray bill. Females have sandy brown plumage with thin chest striping and a white throat patch. Our bird breeds on prairie habitat in south central Canada and the central U.S. down through northern Texas, with wintering territory in the southwest states and Mexico. It feeds on seeds, invertebrates, and some fruits. Insects comprise the bulk of their diet from spring through autumn. That's our mystery bird, and the number to call I'll give you in a second here, but I wanted to mention these prizes. The first one is the beautiful Broom Squirrel Solution 150 feeder. Genuinely squirrel-proof and chew-proof as well. Easy to clean, too. And it features that vented seed tray that keeps the seed fresh and dry. Kind of important there. And we have a one-year subscription to the great birding magazine, BWD. founded way back when and now back again better than ever. BWD.com is the place to go to learn more about it. Prizes on our Mystery Bird contest, and here is that phone number so you'll have it ready when we do the actual contest a little bit later. That would be 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900, the Mystery Bird contest coming along here very shortly. We are most fortunate to be welcoming new Talking Birds ambassadors so far every week on our show from all over as they help us spread the word about, well, our show and about what we're trying to spread the word about, which is birds and birding, nature, and conservation. Thank you to Bailey from Frederick, Maryland. Bailey says he was recruited by his good friend Bill Gillette. You probably heard that name if you've listened to the show for a while. Thank you, Bailey, for becoming a Talking Birds ambassador. And thank you, Bill. Bill Gillette. Bill is one of our super ambassadors. He's recruited a bunch of folks as listeners of our show, and he's recruited a bunch of folks who are listeners to become Talking Birds ambassadors. We want to be like Bill and recruit more listeners to join the ambassadors family. And you can help us get the word out about birds and birding and conservation by becoming an ambassador. And to do it, just click on the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com, and you'll see how easy it is to do it. Well, still to come today, we'll talk with Youth Mentor Award winner Tasha Messer about her work in Georgia with young birders and plirders. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for a Let's Ask Mike almost live from the archive segment about keeping your hummingbirds healthy. And up next, we head for the coast to meet today's featured feathered friend, presented by the Bigger and Better BWD magazine, with each large format issue packed with beautiful photographs, illustrations, and in-depth articles ranging from backyard birds to birding abroad. Experience birds up close with BWD at bwdmagazine.com. Today's featured feathered friend, the semi-palmated plover, is often described as looking like a miniature killdeer, but with a single black band across its breast, while the killdeer sports two. The semi-palmated plover is a bit bigger than a piping plover, but with much darker plumage, rich brown on the head and back, and its black band completely encircles its chest and nape. The semi-palmated plover's hunting style is like that of the American robin, using visual clues to find prey, running a few steps, pausing, then thrusting at its target on the ground, even pulling up earthworms as robins do, and adding marine worms to their diet, along with horseshoe crab eggs, snails and clams, and spiders and beetles as they forage on mudflats and muddy margins across freshwater, brackish, and saltwater habitats. Our bird breeds in mossy or sandy tundra environments from Alaska in the west to Newfoundland and Nova Scotia in the east, and winters along the Pacific coast from Washington to coastal Mexico, as well as on the U.S. South Atlantic coast, the Gulf Coast, and Caribbean islands. The semi-palmated plover is among the few shorebirds whose populations appear to be stable. There certainly are survival challenges for the bird. Huge numbers are killed by hunters in South America each year. Oil spills and other kinds of pollution take their tolls, while sea level rise and climate change are having big impacts on their Arctic breeding habitat. Still, the conservation group Partners in Flight estimates the global population, all in Canada and Alaska, at 200,000 individuals, and they rate the bird as a species of low conservation concern. Here's an example of the bird's chirping call. By the way, we've called the bird a plover, but the jury may be forever out on that pronunciation. There are plenty of plover pronouncers out there. And to avoid further controversy, we'll wrap up by using the scientific name for today's Talkin' Birds featured feathered friend, Charadrius semipalmatus. Welcome again to our show, number 1089. Well, we met Tasha Messer when she signed up as a Talking Birds ambassador some time ago, and we've since learned about her great work as the park naturalist with the DeKalb County, Georgia Department of Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs. In 2025, she led 2 teams in the annual Georgia Youth Birding Competition, in which both of her teams won awards and in which she received the Mentor Award after she spent nearly 200 hours prepping and mentoring the teams. Well, this year she has outdone herself by leading 3 teams in the competition, with each of them winning awards and with her being named Mentor of the Year again. Quite appropriately, she calls herself Naturalist Tasha, and she joins us now to tell us a bit more about her work introducing folks of all ages to the plants and wildlife and ecosystems of DeKalb County's parks. Good morning, Tasha, and congratulations on your team's successes and on your latest Mentor Award.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here. You make me sound good, and them sound good.
I'm just reflecting the reality here, that's all. Well, Tasha, it's a big year in the Peach State with the 100th anniversary of the Birds Georgia Audubon chapter. And that organization had a lot to do with your becoming a naturalist, right?
Absolutely. So Birds Georgia definitely is near and dear to my heart. I've learned so much from them in 3 particular programs. I became a master birder first. And then shortly after that, I took a course called Taking Wing, which is specific for educators. And then a step further than that, I became a Georgia Beloved naturalist. And so through those programmings, all supported by Birds Georgia, I've learned a lot and taken them right back into giving them to our community members, the things that I've learned.
Wonderful. And by the way, we talked to Birds Georgia Executive Director Adam Betchel on our show back in February. Anybody would like to check that out? It's show number 1078. And you had a lot of other mentors for yourself, right, Tasha, in addition to Birds Georgia, to get you on your path?
Oh, my gosh. I would like to even attribute my childhood. My childhood was one that allowed for me to be very curious. And so that is important. I remember I was actually ahead of this. I thought, what was my first memory? And my first memory of even being interested in birds was through looking in either atlases or encyclopedias. And I remember state birds. I thought, ooh, state birds. I had discovered that there were state birds. And, and the rest is history. I had a project once in 6th grade or so where I decided that I was going to figure out if homosexuality existed in birds, not knowing if that would foretell anything, but I did. And it was a very interesting project.
Well, you certainly passed along your knowledge in a beautiful way here with your teams and the Bird Georgia competition and so much more with DeKalb County. And I'm happy to note, Tasha, that you are a proud plirter. And for folks unfamiliar with the term, plirding is kind of our mashup of the words picking up litter while birding, plirding. And you've introduced the term and the activity to a lot of young birders, right?
Young birders and multi-generational, to tell you the truth. So I have to give Travis Audubon in Austin, Texas, some credit for this because they are who introduced me. But again, all of this is by way of Birds Georgia. After becoming that master birder, I wanted to fledge, so to speak, and learn some different things that other Audubons were doing. And so I was traveling to Austin, looked up their Audubon, and they had a Plirding event going on. So I went, and I noticed that the lead of that event was faster than Merlin. So not only did I learn this practice of Plirding, I also learned that, hey, I could use Merlin, the Bird ID app through Cornell Labs of Ornithology, to masterfully gain more knowledge and utilize that app more usefully. And so I did. Now I'm a bit faster than Merlin too. Wow.
Really, really pretty impressive there. By the way, this is May is Plirding month here on Talking Birds. So we're encouraging folks to become proud plurders. Easy to do at our website. Just go to talkingbirds.com/plirding and you will find that. And by the way, Tasha, I'll be sending some proud plurder badges to you for your young birders, right? I think you've requested a dozen of them. Am I right?
I have, and I wanted to let you know that they actually get that as we have an in-house ceremony for them to honor all that they have done, because it's multifaceted and layered. And so they do practice plurting as a way to get prepared for that youth birding competition. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of things right here within the recreation center where I get the after-school kids and work with them. And then we go out to the different parks. And so I do plurd at 4 different locations that I steward within DeKalb County Recreation Parks and Cultural Affairs. But I wanted to let you know, I look back at my Eventbrite registrations and noticed that my very first plurting session happened in May. Not knowing any of this, like this is all coincidental.
Yeah.
May, it was actually, I looked it up, it was actually May the 4th. Mm-hmm. Was my very first, May 4th, 2025 was my very first plurting session at Constitution Lakes Park.
All right. Nice anniversary there. We're just about out of time, but Tasha, how can folks follow you and your good work?
They can follow me out here in these trees on Instagram. That is my hashtag out here in these trees. And also on Instagram, Parks Naturalist Tasha.
All right. Out here in these trees.
Yes.
And Parks Naturalist Tasha. Tasha Messer is the park naturalist with the DeKalb County, Georgia Department of Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs. She's also an award-winning youth mentor and a proud plurder. Tasha, thanks for being on the show and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Tasha Messer, a.k.a. Naturalist Tasha, here on Talking Birds. And up next, it's our Mystery Bird Contest in just 1 minute.
The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com.
There's our mystery bird again. Our mystery bird contest is underway. If you haven't been a winner on our show within the last 3 months, you are eligible to call in and take a try or give the answer to that ID or to that bird. Here's the number. It's 781-837-4900. And I will be sure to give it again. Our mystery bird is a handsome sparrow, although sparrow is not part of its name. The male is mostly black with large white wing patches, a short tail edged in white, and a chunky blue-gray bill. Females have sandy brown plumage with thin chest striping and a white throat patch. Our bird breeds on prairie habitat in south-central Canada and the central U.S. down through northern Texas, with wintering territory in the southwest states and Mexico. It feeds on seeds, invertebrates, and some fruits, with insects comprising the bulk of their diet from spring through autumn. Fabulous prizes on our Mystery Bird contest, and don't forget, if we don't get a correct answer, we'll do a drawing for the winner. But give us a call and tell us what you think at 781-837-4900. We have a Brome Squirrel Solution 150 feeder, genuinely squirrel-proof and chew-proof as well. Easy to clean, and it features a vented seed tray to keep the seed fresh and dry. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, this is about a $75 retail value. This is quite a feeder. Plus, we have a 1-year subscription to the great birding magazine BWD. founded back in the late 70s, and now back better than ever with each large format issue packed with beautiful photographs and illustrations and in-depth articles. Experience birds up close with BWD at bwdmagazine.com. 781-837-4900 is the number to call for our Mystery Bird Contest. Call us as soon as you can because we're always short on time. Meanwhile, Let's Ask Mike, almost live from the archive with help for hummers. Let's Ask Mike in just 1 minute.
Squirrels have one mission in life: eat your birdseed. They hang, they swing, they stretch, climb, and plot their next move. For squirrels, your bird feeder is the ultimate prize. But now, they've finally met their match. Introducing the Squirrel Buster Evolution. When a squirrel climbs onto the feeder, its own weight automatically closes access to the seed, stopping the theft instantly while birds continue to feed comfortably. No batteries, no tricks, no complicated setup. Just smart, proven squirrel-proof technology that works day after day, season after season. That's why the Squirrel Buster Evolution was named Best New Birding Product of 2025 by the Wild Bird Feeding Institute. So let the birds enjoy the feast, and let the squirrels keep trying. Look for the Squirrel Buster Evolution at brome.com or at your local bird shop.
Mike O'Connor is standing by there at the famous Birdwatchers General Store at Cape Cod to talk about three of his favorite things: hydrogen peroxide, vinegar, and black mold. That's what it says here. No, that's not favorite things. Those are things you're going to talk about here. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ray. Yeah, I had the big trifecta going on there.
And we're talking about the reason we mentioned those three particular things that are very contrasting is about hummingbird feeders and cleaning them, making them safe for those birds, right?
Right, and and I'm one of those guys that changed my feeder often, and people who don't run into a problem, but I was kind of all full of myself going, I changed my solution, because if you don't, they get moldy, they get black, they get disgusting, and I didn't fall into that trap, so I thought, but when I brought my feeders out for this spring, a few weeks ago, for this season, and I happened to be wearing my reading glasses, I looked down and said, well, look at this, they're not as clean as I thought, all around the edges, all around the cracks and the rim, and first of all, if you get the flat, kind of saucer-shaped feeders, they're much easier to clean than those glass bottle ones. Those are nightmares, so I don't recommend those. But even these, the ones I use, had some mold on them. So, and I know that some people, the best way to clean them, first of all, it's not the dishwasher. Please don't put a hummingbird feeder in the dishwasher. I've had several customers come in with melted feeders. The other thing is the detergent you use for your dishes isn't really the best for hummingbirds. And the other thing is you don't want the birds' bacteria mixing in with your dishes. So wash everything separately. And so then what I did is I got a bowl of hydrogen peroxide and I got a bowl of vinegar, the two things that people recommend. And then I got a clipboard and a lab coat and some goggles, and I did some testing.
Don't forget the Bunsen burner. Did you have the Bunsen burner going?
No, it was back ordered. So I put them in there, and I let it soak each one for each because I had two components, and I let them soak for a while, and I took it out, and both items, hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, both cleaned them well, but that doesn't dissolve it. You still have to kind of brush the stuff away. What I used was an old toothbrush. My wife was out of town, so I used her toothbrush. And I went around and I scraped the edges, and it came out so easily, way cleaner. I had tried all kinds of scrapey things before, it didn't work, but after you soak them, and neither one, probably the vinegar would be the first choice because it seems cheaper. You get those big bottles of it, then you can make a salad after you're done with it. But they both worked well. And the other thing is, and then rinse it out, and they look like brand new.
Wow.
The other thing people should think about is maybe getting two feeders. That way, because, you bring your feeder in, you want to get it right back out because the hummingbirds are out there. So have one ready to go. You hang it out. You take the old one in that's not old, a couple of days' worth, and then you clean it out, and you can spend some more time with it if you have two feeders going out there. And, from a guy who sells bird feeders for a living, I think that's the best advice I could give anybody right now.
All right. Well, that's pretty good. So
the more you buy, the better it is.
The more you buy, the better. What a slogan. I love that. The more you say it, the more people will believe it. So
That's
hydrogen peroxide and you don't mix them together, though, right? I think that's
no. Either one would work. I found both very effective.
Yeah.
Like I said, vinegar it seems probably cheaper. I just had them both here, so I didn't really price them out. I already had them in the house. And it does, the hydrogen peroxide doesn't smell at all, so that's fine. So whatever you use, but like I said, if you have 2 feeders, then you can spend a little bit more time. You're not pressured to get it back out there while the hummingbirds are waiting for it, so you can spend some time out there.
All right. And which is the one you put on the salad? I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? That's the next experiment I'm gonna do.
Okay, we'll check with you again on that. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. See ya.
Mike O'Connor there at the famous Birdwatchers General Store. The Seabird Institute's Hog Island Audubon Camp, celebrating its 90th anniversary, hosts 5-night immersive educational programs for adults, teens, and families. Through these sessions, taught by the world's leading naturalists, ornithologists, and artists, Hog Island campers deepen their relationships with the birds and the ecosystems around them. For more information, full camp details, and other program offerings, visit audubon.org/Hog Island. That's audubon.org/Hog Island. And one more time, our mystery bird here, and those beautiful prizes from Brome Bird Care, that Squirrel Solution 150 feeder, and a 1-year subscription to the great birding magazine, BWD. And Saskia is on the line from right in our own hometown here of our home radio station here in the South Shore of Massachusetts in the beautiful town of Marshfield. Hello, Saskia.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you. Well, you heard the clues, I expect, Saskia, and the sound and all of that, and that comes together to create what bird?
A lark bunting?
That's right. You can make that a statement instead of a question at this point. Lark bunting is absolutely correct. It's interesting because it's not a lark. It gets its name, though, because it does this amazing display in mating where the mate of the male ascends high in the air and then glides slowly down, singing as it goes, very reminiscent of the Eurasian skylark and some others to which the lark bunting is not closely related. Anyway, nice job there. And I think we have time for a bonus question. Would you like to try it?
Sure.
All right. This is for a feather-friendly kit to protect your windows from bird collisions. Well, last week's mystery bird was the spotted owl, of which there are 3 subspecies. There's the northern spotted owl and the California spotted owl. And the 3rd subspecies is which of the following? Is it A, the Arizona spotted owl, B, the Mexican spotted owl, or C, the rare and elusive spotless spotted owl? Those would be your choices there. What do you think, Saskia? She's getting some assistance there. Yes.
B?
B would be the Mexican spotted owl, which I believe is correct, as a matter of fact. Yes. The Mexican spotted owl. Exactly right. We talked about that last week, about the trouble this bird is having and the trouble the barred owl is having as the national, as the Fish and Wildlife tries to stop the attacks or the taking over of territory of the spotted owl by the barred owl. Saskia, if you'll stay on the line, we'll arrange to send you those beautiful prizes.
Okay. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you. That's it for our show this morning. Thanks to our amazing Talking Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor, and our producing engineer, Jesse Wilkins. I'm Ray Brown. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
The Bird Show. I like that. Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optics covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
By Brome, where bird feeding meets innovation. Discover truly squirrel-proof bird feeders, all backed by lifetime care commitment. Brome.com.
And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit audubon.org/Hog Island.